Hi, it's Brian here again, and welcome to episode 4. So we're on episode 4 already. I can't believe it. Okay, so let's get into the questions. We've got some really interesting questions today that we should just dive straight in, I think, right away. So let's go to the first question.
What's the best way to impress an audition panel who already have an idea of who they want for a role? At Olivia Deshaney.
Okay, Olivia, this is what I think about this particular question is you're saying about how do I impress a panel who have kind of already decided that they want somebody else. I kind of think it's a waste of time even going to the audition on that one because, you know, if they've already decided that they want somebody, then, you know, it's a very uphill battle to try and change their minds, you know. But let's play it slightly differently, like from the question that you've given. Let's assume that maybe they kind of like someone, but they're not definite on them. They're still open to suggestion. In that case, there is definitely still opportunity to get the role. Now, how do you do it? You do the work. Now, let me tell you something. I know you're probably thinking, well, doesn't everybody do the work? You know, everybody goes for a professional audition. Don't they all do the work? No, they don't all do the work. You would be surprised. Many a casting director will complain about the fact that actors are walking in the room that haven't prepared fully for doing the audition. Sometimes they haven't read the script or they just haven't put enough thought into it. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a percentage that are doing that. So the more work you can put into this, the better. And show them that you really are interested in this. And what I mean by that is kind of going over and above. You know, research the director. Know the other projects the director's been involved in. What kind of other actors have they been involved in? Is there particular work that this particular director's done that you really like? Really do your research on them because that's an important part of it as well as the acting part. When it comes to the acting part, if you're looking to stand out in an audition, here's my opinion. I think you should look for a way of doing that role differently from everybody else because at the end of the day, casting directors are sitting in a room like this, in a rehearsal room, and they are watching actor after actor come in and read the same script. Now listen to me, if you're sitting in a room and you're listening to the same script for 7 hours straight, then you are praying, you are hoping that somebody's going to walk in and do it slightly differently. And I think this can really make an actor stand out. And you might be thinking, well, doesn't everybody try to do it differently? No, they don't. There's a fear element that kicks in here. People think, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to kind of, you know, make it look like I'm too out there. So they tend to play it safe. And in playing it safe, you know, it becomes the same as everybody else. So the way that you stand out or the way that you separate yourself from somebody else that's in the running for this role is to take some risks. Try some stuff out in a way that maybe they hadn't thought of before. I'll give you an example. I was coaching one of my former students who was up for, it was a film role. And I looked at the script and he said, look, can you give me some help with this? And I looked at the script and I thought, this is really interesting. It's a great scene to audition with. And basically he was talking about, there was a certain part of the script where he was talking about the fact that when he was a young boy, that his parents forgot his birthday. Totally forgot that it was his birthday. I think he was about 6 or something like that. And he retells the story of what it was like that day and what happened. Now, when I looked at that, I thought, you know what? Everybody, all the actors going in that day are going to play that scene as if it's a tragedy. I said, when you get to that part of the script, I said, laugh. Do it now as if you think it's really funny looking back on it. And I said, it will stand out like a sore thumb. I said, because I can guarantee you nobody else will be doing it. He did that, and that's exactly what happened. It did really stand out. They asked him about that choice, and he gave an explanation, and they really liked it. They loved it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, everybody likes to see something done differently. But you have to do your work. You have to do the research. You have to come up with the idea behind a creative choice. But that's what you're looking for. How can you do it differently from the other actors? So, yeah, there we go. I think that answers that question. Let's go on to the next one.
How would you fight the fear of staying in character? Tim at AceJ77.
Hi, Tim. Yeah, thanks for that question. Right. How do you fight the fear of staying in character? This is an interesting one. Personally, I don't see there's no fear involved in staying in character. In fact, you're fighting to maintain character. All your work is about how do you create this character and remain within the character. Now, I think your question is getting at, how do you leave the character behind, perhaps? That once you're finished playing the part, as a method actor, we do a lot of research into character. But look, at the end of the day, acting is a job, right? And we all know that. To be honest, it's more than a job. It's a way of life, right, for actors. However, it is a job that you need to go and fulfill. And at the end of the day, when you finish doing that job, then you go off home like any other job, and you leave it behind. Now, I know we hear about Daniel Day-Lewis staying in character. There's been rumours that he just stays in character the whole time he's filming. I don't know how his wife puts up with it, but apparently that's what he does. Fine. Every actor is different. The fact is, if Daniel feels that helps his work, who are we to argue? Just look at the work. So I think when it comes to staying in character, there shouldn't be any fear about staying in character. And you should do whatever it takes to really live the life of that person. Because let me ask you a question. If somebody was going to play you as a character in your life story, how well would you want that person to know you? How much study would you want them to do on you? Would you want them to stay in character a lot of the time? You bet you would, wouldn't you? You would absolutely want them to do that. So you shouldn't be afraid of that. And when the cut is called for the day you finish, you leave it behind. You go and chill, you relax. Maybe you do some work at home, additional work if you need to learn a script. And then the next day you come back into it. So it's a bit of a fallacy, really. Most method actors at the end of the day, turn up on set like every other actor and they go into character. I guess there's been some myths and rumours, around particular actors that maybe go beyond that, certain method actors. But, that's fine if that's what they want to do. Like, Daniel Day-Lewis is getting paid, I don't know how many million a movie, right? 10 million a movie or whatever. It's like he's going to do whatever he thinks is going to get him to play the part the best way he can. And that's what counts at the end of the day. In Daniel Day-Lewis's words, he once was asked about this, and he said the work in it of itself, he says, is the thing that we should be focused on, not the process behind my work. He said, that's up to me. So that's what I think about staying in character. Get into character, do all your research, do the best work you can in character, and then when you're done for the day, chill, relax, if that's what you want to do. Next day, back into it. Nothing to be afraid about. Just, get into it. So let's go on to the next question.
I don't know how to get into acting. I've emailed so many companies such as ITV and so on. Sophie Louise Frayne.
Okay, Sophie. Right, this is a bit of an intervention on this question, right? Because I get the feel from your question that you are starting out and you've kind of jumped to the point where you're approaching ITV and the BBC and trying to get in as an actor. Right, you kind of need to stop doing that right now, because there's a whole process that goes in before you get to that stage. And trust me, these companies are not going to be interested in talking to you until you've done the bit before. And even approaching companies like ITV kind of highlights the fact that you don't know the full professional process behind what goes on. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to learn to act, right? I know I've said this, I'm probably sounding like a broken record. I think maybe I say this on every episode so far, but you do. It's like, and actually your question highlights the need for that, because it highlights to people who are already in the profession, have worked in the industry for 20 years, when they see somebody doing that, they go, oh, this person's an amateur, or they don't really understand how the industry works. So right away, you're caught off guard. Now, what you really need to do is you need to learn the business of acting, which is equally as important as the learning of the artistry of acting. And what I mean by the business side is you need to know how the different elements of the industry work. What is an agent? What is a casting director? What is a manager? What is a production company? What's a director and a producer? And what is the chain of events? Where are they all involved in the process of casting? Because once you know that, then at a basic level, that allows you to understand who you should approach and how you should approach them. Well, that's a topic for another day. So, yeah, there's a lot of companies out there, ITV, BBC, they're not really the people that you should start with. You should be focusing on getting an agent and then working on the casting directors. So the first thing is just take a few steps back, Sophie, right? It's like, have you trained? If the answer to that question is no, you need to go and train. Once you're trained, then is, do you have an agent? No, then you need to get an agent. And hopefully part of your training leads to that process, by the way. So that's what I would recommend. Take a step back, take a deep breath, go through the process properly. Because let me tell you, the casting directors, agents, production companies, they know what it looks like to be professional. They know how they're contacted, the way their emails are even structured, the way a CV is structured, a show reel, all of that stuff. They are expecting to see a certain standard and way of doing it, which indicates a professional. So that's the first thing. Take a step back, do the training, and then go into the business side of things, which of course your training should cover, but really you get into the business once you leave your training. So hopefully that answers your question, Sophie. Again, maybe not the answer you wanted, but it's the truth. That's what you've got to do. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of episode 4. And look, as always, I want to hear your questions. I'm sure you've got plenty of questions about the acting industry. So why don't you send them in and let's get them answered. Now, the way you can do that is you can send me a video of you asking the question, which is really cool. You can just send that in via email. Or you can go to our Facebook page and you can post a question there. Or you can go to Twitter and post a question there, and it's Brian C. at Brian C. Timoney. Or you can even Snapchat me, yes, at Brian Timoney 10, and get the question in, and we're going to get them answered for you. Okay, until the next time, I'll see you.